It's the Toasty and Gladman Invitational. We're back. We got one more column. It's been one hell of a day so far. Tempo Storm and Red Bull, thank you so much. Toasty and Gladman getting this going. But the comms, man, the comms are making the day. How you liking it?
I am absolutely loving it. And the thing is, moving into this next series, I guarantee for a fact that Team Feedem and Looking for Work have paid attention to how clutch TT's comms have been during these listen-ins. So you know that they're going to keep up the energy and keep up the fun environment, because we're going to be listening in, and we're going to be listening in intently. So you guys better be ready.
My favorite part is they get no warning. Just like Albert, Holoran, and his Gingered Red. No warning. Look, this is your updated bracket. We've got 3 out of 4 series done today. The final 4 and the championship will be tomorrow. Remember, all best of 5, all single elimination, except for that finals match will be a best of 7. And right now, Endemic versus Team 12 tomorrow. Murloc Geniuses, they're going to be looking on to see if they're going to take Team Feedem or Looking for Work, who is our last series of the day. And as you and I stated before our break, this is a series with Team Feedem, a lot of potential, and we're starting off game number 1 on Dragonshire.
Fantastic map to start out on. This one is, for me, aside from Cursed Hollow, which is kind of an odd choice throughout the community, Dragonshire is my favorite map. I think that it has so many interesting macro opportunities. It's one of those maps where you set up bruiser camps for your team. You have a really strong push, you can end the game. You know, we've seen it so many times before in the past. So I really, really love this map. And of course, it's dual-centric as well. Between that mid and bottom, we always see fights. So I'm stoked to see how these teams play against each other.
I really like Cursed Hollow as well. I like Cursed. We don't get much Cursed.
Pro players flame Cursed so hard.
Yeah. I like it when they play it, though. It's fun for me.
Me too.
But either, look, man, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. It's game time. We're going right into the draft. Team Feedem, greatest logo. I mean, I don't know how much they paid for that, but they've clearly put out everything for their logo. It's Genji.
We got to give it to them. Whoever got commissioned for that, definitely props to them. Big logo work for sure. Genji being banned first for Team Feedem. Abathur as well.
Always Abathur.
Oh, never Abathur. Feels slug, man.
So we've seen a lot of Zeratul throughout the day. Thrall has been very prominent in a lot of drafts as well. We haven't seen a lot of ranged. It's been single range, maybe a second depending on the map, but we've seen a heavy commitment towards melee, and Malthael Thrall sneaking up in those drafts more and more. Diablo is going to be taken away, but the Garrosh, the usual Johanna, it's very different. And the Anubarak as well has been somewhat prominent outside of the last one. And so frontline. This is a very front-heavy meta that we're experiencing.
Interesting. Johanna ban too. Okay, so we're seeing immediately the meta start to develop. Maev is the first pick for Team Feedem. That is going to be terrifying in the hands of this team. And again, before we jump to the break, Jayhow and I were just talking about how stacked, theoretically, the Team Feedem roster is. So I'm just really excited to see how this team plays in general right now. Because, yeah, as we said, on paper, this team is terrifying.
There they are. All melee. 2 melee assassins and a Garrosh to start our draft. With Diablo and Johanna not picked, Anubarak has to be picked here. He's one of the few heroes, like there's Johanna and Anubarak. If you get tossed in, you can be unstoppable and burrow charge out. Johanna's Iron Skin is the only other hero that really fits. I would not be surprised if we see an Anubarak ban by LFW, which leads me to wonder, what is that other warrior that I'm missing outside of maybe a Muradin who's just waiting to get to 13 to survive back there anyways?
You could perhaps run an ETC, but he get into a lot of trouble with the Garrosh. But he is one of those heroes that can get flipped in and then just power slide out to safety. But I absolutely agree, and a noob ban would be fantastic. We're seeing LFW ban off Anubarak, and now Team Feedem with the opportunity, perhaps looking at a Jaina because of the Zeratul combination. They already have the Hanzo for themselves. But we'll see. Yeah, there's the Jaina ban. I think that's very wise. Eliminate some of the burst potential from LFW. What Malfurion is up? Yes. Okay, so it's likely going to be Malf and something else, right? Maybe?
It feels like that would be a very strong pick here. Easy follow-up to Garrosh Toss. Sustain, very good for this. Zoning around the shrines. I like where you're going with it. It's a matter of where is their damage? Like, where do they go with their damage at this point? And the Phoenix is going to be the pick with that Malfurion.
Yeah, I like the Phoenix.
So
sure.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, this is the big question mark, J-How.
ET Sizzle? ET Sizzle?
Is it? Thinking emoji. I mean, it's even harder against Malf because it's silenced into.
No, you don't want to be Stitches.
I don't think so. Murden is just the standard one, though.
Look, you can get stacks. You can Dwarf Toss out, except you don't. It's not 2016 where you have Unstoppable on your Dwarf Toss. But post 13, you're okay. You get the healing static. That's where you want to be at. So, yeah, that's okay.
Okay, next is the Malthael. So Zeratul, able to float up into the top lane against this Dahaka. Cure is going to have to play very, very safely throughout this entire game, basically, until Zeratul shows elsewhere on the map. So we'll have to pay attention for that as well. But then at the same time, Cure has the opportunity to look to make big plays on the bottom side of the map, even invading under the siege camp of LFW. But invading against a Garrosh can be very scary, especially on Dragonshire, where you can just flip it right into the fort. So they've got to be careful about that one.
That is always the terrifying prospect. Any other tank, you're like, maybe I can get away with this. Garrosh, not so much. We're getting a Hosty Hanzo, which was one of his best, if not his best, last year. But well-rounded comps. Very different than what we saw last series.
My apologies to the stream if we're having some issues here. Everybody at the production team knows about it. They're just working on it right now, so my apologies to everyone. But we'll do the radio ASMR cast. Welcome to the final series of the day. This is Team Feedem versus Looking for Work. So glad that you could all join us today. Thanks for tuning into twitch.tv/tempo_storm. Understore?
We're going to need it quieter.
Oh, yeah. Let's bring it down a little bit, J-How. How are you feeling tonight?
Like, I'm excited about Muradin stacks because we're going level 1 stacking, baby.
That's true. Big pog, actually, about the Muradin stacks. Fury tossing in Cure. Able to use that beautiful, beautiful E to get away from a very dangerous situation from LFW.
Just keep talking and no one explodes. That's how we got to look at this. Everything that we have, we're getting Nisha's Memento on Maiev. Everything else standard across the board. Fury on that Garrosh, always a threat. One of the biggest playmaking tanks that we have. We'll see how this goes forward.
Alrighty. Lutano, the big one to watch out for in this game. Getting big angles, huge engagements with this Maiev. Yeah, that's honestly a terrifying prospect for LFW. Maiev is just so scary to play against all the time, especially, you know, I guess they've got some response to it, right? Like, Garrosh can make plays against Maiev.
All right, I think everybody knows we're getting the communication out in terms of the stream, and it's fixed, and we're ready to go. That means we're live. We're on a delay here, so I only see what's old. Let's go. We're back. You guys have seen some rotations. We're actually getting first blood on Phoenix. Going full ham sandwich there. Fury, that's going to be the stun. There's going to be the follow-up. The self-heal. Hosty's going to stay on that. The roots are going to be there. One more auto should do the trick, and Hosty able to confirm kill number 2. And just like that, I've been trying to keep up, seeing what's going on, and all of a sudden I look up, it's a half-level lead. That's not 2 kills for it. There's been some missed XP somewhere.
There definitely has been. And of course, you have the Dahaka, so able to pick up additional soak wherever he's able to. So far Team Feedem have done fantastically during this early game.
Apparently stream came back on at 12 seconds, so nobody missed a thing. We gave everybody Illidan point of view for a while, and then all of a sudden we're like, you know what? We're back. There's the stun. Not much to be made of that, but right now, Shrine Control looking to go over in favor of LFW. And now it's Team Feedem. They've got to defend.
Zugrug, the focused of looking for work, but he's going to be able to dwarf toss away to safety. Once all of the CC from LFW has come out, he can just kind of escape that one with relative ease. Meanwhile, the duel in top lane. That old tag of NT feels HGC, man.
There's the toss in. Lutana will use that vault, but nice roots being placed down by Dark Chimera. Groundbreaker will get the knock up. Zoning with that E going out by Lutano. Will force the warp out by Phoenix. Keeping it safe. Keeping it simple.
Meanwhile, just the wave clear going on in the mid lane here. Swabs just trying to do some damage in the equation as well. Now Droplet's getting stunned up, but going to be able to warp away to safety. This is a 3v4. Not really something that LFW wants to fight into, but Dark Chimera should be able to keep his teammates alive. Lutano going deep here. Keep in mind, no warp available for Droplets for just a moment. Gets stunned up and dies as well. That's a 1-for-1 trade.
Zugrug still in there trying to make plays, and the stuns, everything coming in there. That's actually going to be Zeratul falling. Zugrug able to dwarf toss out. No health, no mana, no problem as he gets out. And the early game dominance seems to be here for Team Feedem. There's going to be the drag feeding frenzy now online for Cure. He knows how to make plays.
Really does. Missing some of that soak, actually a lot of it for the cap, but of course that gets the first objective of the game over to Team Feedem, so it is absolutely worth missing some of those minions. Meanwhile, down bottom somehow, some way, Fury ends up dying. Playing the Garrosh too, one of his main heroes. Come on, Fury.
Ooh. Got him!
Beautiful play by Lutano. Fantastic.
I mean, that could not have happened a fraction of a second later. That was perfect to get that kill. And now we're looking at a full level lead, 6 kills to 1. Team Feedem coming out with a dominance in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Huge experience lead so far. Team Feedem is looking to quite heavily outclass LFW right now. Individually, we've seen top lane do quite a bit better so far for Team Feedem throughout these rotations as well. Team Feedem just doing much better. You know, we're seeing 6 kills to 1. We're seeing a level and a half lead. Level 10's coming through here. I would expect maybe Team Feedem to make some ambitious plays, perhaps. They have the opportunity to stack bot bruisers with their siege and look to push. They can even just take away enemy siege and then make that play, and then look for a fort. There's a lot here that Team Feedem can make happen.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I mean, they could even go full tempo style and go back and get Knights in their own siege camp if they really wanted to, but the timing window with 10, they can get aggressive. They can do what they want. Speaking of doing what they want, Cure, well, they're going to do what they want with him. There's no CC interrupt. The Dragon Arrow goes by, but with no CC, Dahaka dips out. That's it. I mean, it is a nice gank opportunity, but you've got to have CC if you want to gank a Dahaka.
Absolutely true. Anything like a root or perhaps a knockback, any hard CC would be fantastic as well, but nothing so far. Zugrug jumping in. He's got the avatar, remember. It's no haymaker. Feels bad, man. Big scan as well. Taunted up now is the backside of Team Feedem, sorry. 2 dead. Looking for work, just making a big play on the bottom side of the map. Hosty is the next target, but he gets away to safety.
Oh, the track down.
Good night.
He got clipped. He got clipped. The plasma cutter comes in, and just like that, experience made up. Only 1 fort down at the end of it. 3 kills will get the experience back, and looking for work right back in the game. Over committed there was Team Feedem. Should be able to blink out. Does just in time. Lutano more than okay there.
Passive XP, of course, going to be very strong here for Team Feedem. They have the global and the fort down on the bottom side of the map. Mid is also halfway down for Team Feedem, so that's some more potential late game experience in the bank for themselves. But you're playing against a composition that's already crested that level 10 mark. You have the Zeratul. Once Looking for Work gets to level 16, it's going to be a different equation.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot there. You know, Hanzo does well on this map once he gets the Pierce, which is good. Fury will go in. Cure's going to go ahead and use his Essence. There's the Dragon Arrow on the way up. It's actually going to miss the mark. The roots are there. I don't think Cure's getting away from this one as much as he wants to. He's dead. There is going to be the double camp pickup in the bottom with a 20-second stagger there. Dahaka will have his burrow available. Might see Team Feedem try and siege up on the bottom, but I think timing-wise, going to be more difficult than I think they'd like.
A little bit uncharacteristic of Cure so far to fall to that sort of pressure. It's kind of obvious that that's what Looking for Work do with their composition during the first stages of this game. You have a Malthael and a Zeratul. If Zeratul's not showing, likely he's going to be on the top side of the map, or another hero can look to make a rotation onto you as well. So a little bit more cautious play, I think, coming out from Cure would prove to be very beneficial for Team Feedem.
I like how Fury walks out there as Garrosh, and everybody just runs. They're like, I'm not going out there. Like, this is Fury, it's Garrosh. Like, Garrosh is intimidating enough. Fury is intimidating enough. We know he's ready to throw down. We actually see Casanova mega flank. Droplets comes in. There's going to be the toss, but that was Avatar hit just in time. Last right, however, not able to stay alive. So the Avatar was used before the taunt, but it was not enough. Cure, however, unless
it's
nice.
The channel. Droplets getting tagged here by Lutano. Lutano has to be careful. Really nice fall to the Wardens to stop that Groundbreaker from stunning him up. And the turn damage from Team Feedem has started. But keep in mind, there's no Muradin in this equation. Ooh, okay, I see you, Collusion. Man, Hosty is doing insane damage.
Just missed on that Dragon Arrow, which may or may not have been enough. Because remember, that level 13 is more shield, less health. I have my colors correct, I'm pretty sure. So while that's nice, that health bar, much smaller. This DK, actually, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Can he escape? That's a big question. But the flank is a possibility from Team Feedem as well. Taunted up is Collusion. He's going to die. Tyrande is down. But Team Feedem are trying to salvage this situation. Big value from Lutano. He's cleaving out of his mind. Cure survives the last rites as well from Malthael. And that's honestly just going to be a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Team Feedem off the backside of that fight. That is not what I expected to say.
Oh, you know that there are some Hosty subs in chat hitting oh baby after that Dragon Arrow. The containment disc missed, and Hosty's like, I got this. And it was oh baby from there. And that's going to be a few more kills when what seemed like a fight that was over now is Team Feedem turning up the pressure, getting towards a keep, and in control. And, you know, Khaled, we haven't had an opportunity yet to listen to comms in this one, but I think we're going to have to soon, because right now Team Feedem is really starting to take control of this game.
I would expect Cure's comms there to be, I think I'm dead, guys. Unless then the flank comes in.
Unless now they've got keep down on one of the most dominant lanes for any map, and that is the bot lane of Dragonshire. They've got it down 11 minutes in, full level lead, talent tier advantage. Now it's just a matter of systematically trying to dismantle Looking for Work in the macro sense with the global and the catapults. Let's listen in.
I'm a bait.
Oh yeah, they see us.
Ow.
They're on Knights.
Pushing out bot.
I can do our Knights.
I want to run safe around the Knights.
I'm gonna hover towards top. Mav's here. No eyes on Muradin.
Yeah. They might be invading.
They're invading.
Okay. Just
No
wait for
way.
16. We
Where
get
are
it.
we going?
We're 16. Yo,
Yeah, I'm looking. Okay, I just finished
No,
this.
Camp. Finish camp. Make sure we don't lose those camps.
Mid. Oh.
Yeah.
Actually,
Might just have to go mid. I can.
They're running bot.
I'm clearing top right now, and then maybe I can fight for top. But you guys might just need
Oh,
a.
watch me mid. Murray jumped away.
Yeah.
Okay, I can fight for
think,
top now. I can fight for top.
Yeah, let me say.
Having top.
I should have it. I should just have it. I should just have it.
They're trunking up here.
Yeah, I've got it. I got it.
Heal.
Dark, you're fine.
He dug.
There's an arrow. Careful. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there. I killed.
I'm just dropping. I'm dropping.
Jamie.
Yeah, taunt it.
Yeah.
We need to keep cutting back a little bit.
They're
On my side, I can't see it.
I'm trying to peel you.
Yeah, I'm dead. I got pulled.
I have root.
You have ally?
I saw taunt.
Okay.
No ally. Oh my.
I don't have cleanse.
Fuck.
I think I can duck over the wall.
Careful. Oh, I'm probably just dead.
Can't go forward.
Yeah, I got isolated that fight. Unfortunate.
We have a big push top side. I'm up in 30. We're gonna try and smoke for 20.
Top.
Yeah,
I'm
I
going
got just
top.
too close to the wall without any, and then my F just caught me.
I have cleanse up swabs.
Yeah.
There's 3 here though.
Sorry, we could get
4
DK.
here.
They can't end with the DK.
Okay, I'm just gonna back.
I'm a prep bot lane then.
Our top is pushing hard.
Yeah.
They're gonna look for
Dog
me,
it,
probably.
They might be look to end actually. They're not
They're
gonna.
trying to
Yeah.
end.
We could probably stop end. I don't think
Yeah,
they end here.
yeah,
we
we
could
can
for
stop
sure.
end.
Just careful for picks.
18 on Dream.
15 on Salvo.
I'm pre-tapped going. Yeah, they can't just hold the line here.
Down,
Hold the line like here.
Yeah.
You can get some damage on it.
Yeah, just you guys keep tickling it, doing the damage to it.
Yeah, poking hard right now. I'm on Zug right now.
Let's pull down. I'm okay.
Stun on me. I
Zero?
cleanse arrow.
That's Toronto too.
Yeah, they're using a lot.
They're looking at swaps.
This down.
It's another ult.
This down.
I'm just trying to hit the DK. Trying to hit the DK.
I got chunk.
I'm just on DK.
Yeah, I'm scaring them. I'm scaring them to
Yeah,
the.
this VP. Back.
I'm on
They're
this
just
swap.
rushing core. I almost have DK dead.
Look at this.
Collision after. I go collision after.
Dream! Lieutenant, finish him!
We gotta go host the. Okay, cure.
Yeah,
Got it.
You can't.
And that is the sound of defeat right there. I
really
thought they
is.
were going to hold. That is an early DK, Kala.
Yeah. Even Fury said, he's like, they can't end with this. Of course they did, but it was a difficult end, that's for sure. And Team Feedem actually, I thought that they played that one very, very well. Instead of just all-inning on the core right away, they used the Dragon Knight Flame Breath to just do some, periodic damage onto the shields of the core, and then they moved in. Fury did a really nice job of zoning the backline, but I think that the Void Prison could have been used perhaps to deny some damage onto the core instead of just stopping the backline of Team Feedem for that rush. But this was a big team fight as well. I can't believe how well Team Feedem turned this one.
Yeah, Dahaka was in that unless moment, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute. Everybody's starting to turn. This was up at the top screen, the Dragon Arrow. That's a got him right there. But that was the one where the containment just missed. And then he ended up following up, making that play. And then, hey, look, they were looking for more, if you know what I mean.
They really were. Team Feedem, to me, looked like they completely outclassed Looking for Work so far. But it could have just been drafts as well. Like, we saw 6 kills to 1. LFW turned the fight or the game around quite well during around the mid stages of the game, but it still wasn't quite enough. We saw 10 kills to 7 at this point here, 12 minutes into the game. But then this team fight was so yikes for LFW. Fury got hit by the ISO there. We see him just using his Q to try to do anything at all. Ends up throwing a member of Team Feedem over the wall, but then that just results in a drag for Cure, and it sets up another kill, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It was definitely the right thing for Fury to try to do, but like, watch it, he just flips in Cure gets the burrow, gets another tongue off of the new positioning, and kills Casa off of it, so it's like really unfortunate there. Nice try
and
by
LFW. You could see everybody on Team Feedem instantly went for that sidewall just to make sure, look, he gets out of there, and then ended up resulting in so much more. As you said, getting that drag, it was just... That's kind of what you expect in that position. So for Team Feedem, there was only a brief moment. This is something I think that what you highlighted. Look, if you have the DK, you don't just have to run in and start doing damage. You can be patient. The thing has a very long timer.
I agree. I think in addition to that, as we mentioned earlier, the no VP on core was a big problem here. I think that using that instead of simply just stalling out the single target damage from Maev would have been much more effective to just look at stalling out the core and then maybe setting up something around the core instead, but that's okay.
Well, that's we kind of expected Team Feedem to come out. They were strong, and Dragonshire is one of those maps. When they got that early keep, that just changed the dynamic. They had the global, and they had the full catapults on every wave in that bot lane, and that is so difficult to play into on Dragonshire. Other maps, it's somewhat, but this is probably one of the most dominant lanes on any map, that bottom lane on Dragonshire, for so many reasons. So I was with Fury. I didn't think that was going to end. That's a pre-20, very early. I think we're at like 14 or 15 minutes maybe. I think it might have been 16 or 17 on that DK. But we're not that far into the game. We don't normally expect DKs to end at that point, but they played it so incredibly well. The discipline there, they poked it out. As you said, the VP, maybe that changes everything. But huge props to Team Feedem for playing that the way that they did. Just saying, we'll get it. We'll get it eventually. We'll get a chance next game to listen to their comms so we can see exactly how they do that. But still, very well done.
Next map will be Tomb of the Spider Queen, so that's going to be a good one. Again, we've seen it every single series so far, and it's been different every time we've stepped onto this map. Last time we saw this game, we saw a Diva Abathur composition.
Yeah. We've seen so many Abathur bans that it seems unlikely that Abathur really is going to get let through. But then we've seen such little success on Tomb of the Spider Queen with it without the Johanna. Like with the Johanna, much easier to run. Without the Johanna, much more difficult to run. So our team's just going to be like, yes, we can run it, or no, that we can't. And I think a lot of it depends on whether they feel they can get the Johanna. And if it's denied, then you've already put yourself in a much better situation. So I wonder what the thought process is from here on out for something like Tomb.
We'll see what these teams decide to run as far as drafts are concerned. But the nice thing about this tournament is every single team has had a different style of drafting, basically for every series. So we saw probably the biggest variance last series, of course, Team 12 being in that equation. But I want to see how these teams prioritize their drafting on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I was thinking that LFW was going to try to run an Imperious, but of course it's Fury on their main tank position. I know he was playing the hero a bunch and he was really enjoying it, but maybe I expected it from them. Maybe we'll see that one. There's the Abathur ban.
I think he'd still run it. I think he would. I think he would.
Main tank?
I don't see him running a Johanna main tank, that's for sure.
Fury likes the more aggressive tanks, that's for sure. Exactly. Yeah. Loves his Garrosh. I still remember when Garrosh first came out and Fury was telling Solomon Cattle, he's like, I want to play Garrosh, he's really good. And Solomon Cattle were like, no, Garrosh sucks. Like, trust me, Garrosh sucks. And then Tempo Storm gets...
That was when he was still busted, right?
Justing's Garrosh. Yeah. He was so good at that time. And Fury was like, we just got 3-0'd, but like, we just got destroyed by Garrosh. And Som refused to ban it too. So it was like... Yeah, it was a tough situation. Fury loves his Garrosh, and he's a beast on that hero.
A lot of the tanks being taken out. So Diablo, Johanna taken away, both strong in their own right on this battleground. One for wave clear, one for engagement purposes. Completely gone. One hero that got nerfed enough that we didn't really get to see is the Mal'Ganis.
Yes.
I almost forgot Mal'Ganis was a hero.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I really, really liked Mal'Ganis, but he's just seemed maybe a little bit too easy to get value out of, and he saw some pretty significant nerfs. Like you could just run it down and just constantly do damage with him. His sleeps are so OP, so he's definitely a tough hero to balance, I think.
Tyrande, one of the usual suspects, paired with that Garrosh coming in for Team Feedem, so that will be the Zugrug hero. Now, it goes back to the point again. Without Johanna, is a Nubarak the pick? Is a Nubarak the pick that gives you that if I get flipped, I still get out of here, and it gives you engagement tools as well?
Absolutely.
But a Nubarak is, it fits the aggression range, but if you don't pick it here, do you run the risk of it being banned out?
I think it does get banned out if you don't pick it here. Yeah, okay, so running the Jaina and the Blaze as well, I mean, that just seems like even more of a setup comp. What's worse than a Void Prison into a Ring of Frost? When you're down a hero because of a Cocoon, you know what I mean? Like, it could be really, really bad. Aside from that, like, what other tanks would LFW really want to run against this Tyrande Garrosh? Diablo's banned, Johanna's banned. I don't think, like, a Muradin would really be as powerful, or even the likes of a Stitches here. This could be the Imperious game, PogChamp.
It could always go back to the ETC. Fury was one of the few people that was still running to run the ETC. You touched on it in the previous game. I think that's another one. This used to be a really good map. Muradin and ETC used to play that gap between the top and mid lane. And just whenever you would try and rotate between mid-top, ETC just comes out, presses W, or he just stands there and you're like, I can't go this way. Or he would just press W and dismount you. And that was kind of his role. And Muradin was kind of the same way. So there always is that to consider. Garrosh, you can always just press W if he gets nearby. If he tosses you, hopefully you have your power slide. If not, it's rough, man. But Fury is one of the most aggressive power sliding tanks ever that I've seen. He's like, I'm going in, and hopefully the team follows up.
He either wins fights or becomes stakes. So it's basically... Maybe they're all high stakes slides at that point. Anyways, Alarak and Hanzo selected here for Team Feedem. Lots of combination potential. You got the Garrosh Tyrande Alarak. That is devastating in the right hands. And I think that if there's any team to really make it happen, it could be Team Feedem. We'll have to see as the game progresses. But I love this comp mainly just because it's on Tomb. You know, it's just really tight-knit rotations, lots of good angles for these heroes to play at. I want to see some really big combos from Team Feedem. There it is. Pog. We got it.
There it is. So Imperious will be the tank.
Dude, I don't know, man. I feel like Imperious just dies over and over here, doesn't he? Imperious Q's in. Cool. Tyrande just heals the Q and any burst damage because Zeratil's not a relevant hero until later game. Garrosh flips in Imperious. Imperious gets blown up immediately. Has no escape, I feel. No? Am I crazy?
That makes it even more difficult for Imperious. So that means we're getting Alarak to rotate in the 4-man. So super lethal in terms of CC potential. Interesting. So that's actually Fury on Blaze, by the way.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, I saw it right before we went. So that's actually Fury on Blaze and Imperious being played by Swabs.
Okay.
That's not what I trust me, I'm with you. Like, I thought that Imperious was the Fury hero. And then at the last second, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, that says Swabs under the name. So, changing it up.
But both of those tanks suffer from this very same problem in the rotation. They have no escape. So they don't really have much control because they don't have much escape, especially playing as a Garrosh Tyrande and Alarak. I think LFW's draft is going to have a lot of difficulties playing into this, unless there's something that I'm just not seeing. Once level 7s come through with the white main, things will be much easier. But until that point, I think that LFW will just have to play the safe wave clear game.
Well, we'll see how it goes. This is a good map for new habits. We had a pause, but we're back. You have new habits, so that does allow you to at least get the unstoppable when you pop your trait. See if that is the pickup here. Last one waiting to lock in talent.
Hi ladies, looking for a stud? Look no further than my boy E. Kevin. He's looking for a girlfriend. Clown face. Hit him up ASAP for this limited time offer.
I'm worried. Zugrug, so serious.
I had to say it, dude. Yeah, Zug is in there. He needs to win games for his hairless cat. Who else is going to pay for the food? Swabs, as if on Q, gets comboed in. He's in a lot of trouble. Cure is the focus for LFW. Going to be able to walk away from that one with relative ease.
Those are moments that they get scarier and scarier if there's enough follow-up, because white main healing is good and it will follow up in those tight points against so many melee. But Fury in trouble the same way that we saw Yrel in trouble. He just managed to hit that jet propulsion, hit a body, got the stun, able to walk out of there. But this is terrifying for the long game. They are literally playing with fire with this comp.
And keep in mind, Team Feedem found that engage onto Fury while he was on his towers. Like, literally, Zugrug walked up under towers and threw him in. So if there's any moments where this engage happens, perhaps in a neutral space, looking for work are going to have a lot of difficulties surviving. Like I said, Team Feedem's rotate is so scary. Like, they literally have to play on towers the entire game.
That's a lesson for everybody right there. You see that rotating, you just stay at your tower. You don't have to walk out. It'll come to you. Don't walk to them. Let everything come to you.
Ooh, Kira's getting bodied by Swabs. Well, I guess it's pretty even trade.
Oh, hello there.
Hail. There we go. Of course, it's Zero. She can just heal up. She's okay.
Lutano and team rotating around, trying to get the stacks, and more stacks. Droplets wants to get that gem. He's like, you know what? It's not worth it. It's just going to sit there. I'm just going to go ahead and go this way, and I think justifiably so.
Level 4 coming through for white main. Going to have that extra support sustain is Dark Chimera. He's feeling pretty good about that one. Lutano, the focus of damage for LFW, but members of Team Feedem going to be able to walk away. Droplets, not the one you want to have flipped in. Zeratul goes down. That's first blood. That's second blood. Jaina dies as well. And Team Feedem just absolutely destroying here on the middle side of the map.
Just manhandling them. The knockback from Urel potential is there. Garrosh toss potential there. Alarak, we know he's going to be moving you around. So at every stage of the game, you have heroes that don't necessarily have the mobility. Look, Blaze and Imperius, they can move one direction. Whitemane, no mobility. Jaina, no mobility. You have to be on your toes the entire game whenever they rotate towards you, else it's going to just look like that, and that is no easy task.
Team Feedem are making short work of their opponents at this point. A level up, you got the 2 kills. First turn into the game, going to go over to Team Feedem immediately here, looking for work, starting their bruiser camp at least to try to ease the pain in the mid lane. I rhymed there, completely unintentional.
Well, this is a weird time to have your first wave. 3.5 minutes. Web Weavers are not very strong. There's going to be the stun. Droplets comes in, does damage, has the vorpal, gets onto Lutano. Lutano just manages to get some heals by Collusion, and now Droplets out of mobility. That's going to be the kill. Clutch heal. Also, this change up in Jaina build, if you don't go Globes at 1, you need Arcane Intellect essentially at 4, unless you're running with a Malfurion. So we do see Arcane Intellect picked up, just so that Jaina can poke from a safer distance.
Really, really a good job there. I actually think that the Jaina talent change-up is very necessary. You're playing against such a melee-heavy composition. Getting in those Qs is going to be huge, but look how deep Team Feedem is. Throwing out Collusion now is Zugrug. He's going to be able to walk away from this one so far. Level 7's here, of course, for Team Feedem, so taking any fights is massive for themselves. Mid is pushed out for LFW, but this is going to be first forward of the game going over to Team Feedem at 4.5 minutes in. That's going to be early passive experience coming through.
That's insane. That is insane. When I called the Web Weaver turn at 3.5 minutes, I'm like, that's nice. They're going to get maybe a fort wall or 2. They actually got a fort out of this. That is extremely unlikely in many, many games. Like, I almost never see a fort go down at 4.5 minutes. Like, there has to be perfect circumstances. The fact that Team Feedem pulled that off is very impressive to get that much value this early. So yeah, that is a major stepping stone towards a potential snowball for TF.
Oh yeah, this is going to snowball hard. Swab's getting in 31. Caster Curse, by the way. Really clutch plays by Collusion, man. That's twice in a row where he's just making big old plays. Now Fury is the target, and this is what I'm talking about. Has this bottom side angle, but gets interrupted. Finds the top side.
Oh,
really nice change up there by Fury.
Team Feedem in such control. The comms have to be something good. We're going to check out the Team Feedem comms to kind of see how they establish this, try and get towards 10. So we'll take a listen to that here in just a second.
Nice, good Al.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that on CD, I think.
Yeah, I'm watching.
I'm tapping.
Okay.
I have vision for bot side in a sec.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Wait for Cassie.
I'm visioning. Can't.
Big
Give
combo,
me,
I need
give
help
me.
though.
Big damage on the tunnel.
You gotta toss here. Nice.
Dark, nice.
Nice collision. Or whatever this
You
is.
doing one?
Yeah, get this guy too.
Dude,
Get
up.
Blaze too.
Zero's on us.
Blaze. Blocking Blaze. 1 second.
Yo, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Coming,
No
coming,
charge,
coming,
no Q on him.
Ian
I
one.
think that's his Q.
I got him, I got him.
You know?
This guy has all the money. This guy has all the money.
Do we turn? No.
Oh, what the f-
Wait, he just went over the wall.
We're 10. You want to?
Make sure he doesn't get this.
We almost have turn.
Yeah, we have turn. Just get wave. Get turn.
I got 3 top.
Yeah, I'll turn
we
it on.
We have. We have
Sorry
to all.
for
Can we attack
calling
something?
their healing
Knights?
cleave.
Anyone want
Yeah.
to attack Knights?
I'm pushing
turning.
mid right now. I'm pushing
We
mid.
need all our money. We
turn
can't
now,
tag.
I guess.
Alright, you go,
We
you
have
go,
a big wave, big wave bot.
Yeah, so you need turn. You need turn. It's a.
Hosty click. Hosty click.
I need
I want to punch
help on
buildings.
this.
Yeah, we're
I'm
coming.
building after the turn.
We're on the. I'm.
Fine.
I'm just soaking bot.
Well done.
I can finish this if y'all want to start going.
Nah, it's nothing much to do.
Yeah.
This
Just
is
get
kinda
mid.
tanky
Can
though.
someone
Shit,
hold
I
me?
do no damage.
Beardo Cat's a win right now, dude.
Now what do? We want 5-man again?
Yeah,
I mean,
5
yeah,
mid, I
just
guess.
one
We have
man,
knight, right? Like,
Yeah, fuck
go for
it.
cheap
YOLO.
or something.
Yeah,
not
if we get
10,
kills,
like-
we win here.
If you're here,
Yeah. I'm far.
Okay, no wave.
Big
Yeah.
cleanse.
one down.
Yep, cleanse down though.
Pretty
We got
big.
arrow with
7
wave.
seconds on combo.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking at arrow.
5 seconds on
I'm
combo.
gonna
Wait,
start
combo for
flanking.
arrow.
5 on stun, 4.
2 seconds. 1.
They're really far
One,
back.
one.
They're scared.
Just hard zone them.
Yeah.
This shit's full of health still.
Yeah.
Imperius is bot.
Top is full
Just,
up.
just
too,
make
like-
sure we have a wave before we dive. I guess you can just pull him though, so you can just rip it as long as it's like.
Very now.
You pull, I can. Oh my.
Ooh.
I'm out, I'm out.
Nice
Watch
one.
it, outside
They're
there,
top
outside.
there.
There's a minion in my way.
Get the wall
3
down.
seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second.
I'm gonna moon use
Maybe
here.
after that.
Get oh, no man. You're fine.
Yeah, I have ult so. I'm just zoning.
I'm looking for a counter combo.
Oh, that's bunker.
Go bunker. Go bunker.
I'm on Welly.
Pretty
Got
chunky.
it.
Okay.
Oh, we're VP'd
We're
here.
repeat in the back.
Can we live?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're just hopping.
There is one.
I'm gonna
Stop,
ult.
stop,
I'm
Getting
stop,
sauce,
stop.
sauce, sauce, sauce.
Bobs.
I got you, Kurt. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
fine. We'd have
You're
a
just
wave.
hogging in the back, man.
We don't.
Top
Yeah,
is
we don't
huge,
have value though. I'm gonna
I will
ult.
too.
Nice.
Oh, trying to
Fury?
Fear.
Casa?
Ulti down on
Big?
wave, man.
I have
Oh,
nothing.
I'm taking. Leave.
Nothing. Get out.
Yeah,
Get
I have
out.
a wave soon.
Thank you,
Wave soon.
1 second.
Ladies and gentlemen, Team Feedem making big plays in the mid lane. They are cool, calm, and collected. Now, maybe I expected a few more memes out of them, but they're taking this very, very seriously, as they should. This is our premier tournament, everybody, and they have played so very well in all of these games. 9 kills to nothing with this composition. Of course, I highlighted in the draft that there's very little that Looking for Work can do with their draft against Team Feedem on this map in particular, and it has proven, I think, even worse for Looking for Work than I originally expected. But man, oh man, is Team Feedem ever playing clean? And for me, like, Collusion is just, he's always there when he needs to be, you know? Jay-How, what do you think? He's playing, all these members are playing so well.
Look, man, that insight into the team. It's 7 minutes and 16 seconds in. The words from Cure were spoken. If we get a kill, we win. That's how much they knew they were in charge, but also know the potential win conditions. And that's how quickly a game can end. Look, it didn't happen. This could very easily go 20+ minutes. But that's the mentality that this team has, is like, we can make this. The fact that Cure is just jumping in, using his cooldown reduction on his 7, jumping over a wall and then jumping out, I mean, that is gutsy, but it's confidence, and it's a calculated approach that you love to see.
Absolutely agree with you, man. And I think this is the first time so far in any games that we've seen a 3-level difference. Mind you, 12 just on the horizon here for Looking for Work, but give it to me, okay? I'm going to say 3 levels. Said in first game, Team Feedem looked like they were leaps and bounds ahead of Looking for Work in terms of just, maybe just, how do I say this without sounding like a dick? Like, they just look like a better team.
Well, they very experienced with playing together, drafting incredibly well, playing incredibly well. Rotations, communication is there. They're communicating all of their CC. They know where everybody's going to be at, and that's been fun to listen to, is how much information they're giving each other, and without making it sound too chaotic. I mean, sometimes you can just overlap each other, and then it's like, wait a minute, there's too much information, but they're literally communicating exactly the way you turn in. You're like, okay, how does this sound? Okay, that actually sounds pretty good. That's kind of what I would expect. That's not bad. It's really good.
I like the cleanliness of Lutano's comms. You know, he's playing a combination hero. So like the fact that he was saying, you know, I've got combo in 5 seconds, wait for arrow off of combo, stuff like that. I like the way that Lutano communicates with his team.
Web Weavers are always a good response when it comes to a boss pickup. However, the damage done in the early going just means that, look, this boss already pushing directly to core. There's no keep to salvage this. This shouldn't end the game. But if they do get that 1 kill, and speaking of getting that 1 kill, Fury getting tossed all the way in, forcing out the bunker. Starfall comes down to try and defend. And right now, LFM, they're looking to fight. Also, we've got a different ult here coming in as Lutano. Counter-strike will come in. He'll stay alive for now. But the health bars of the side of LFW are hurting right now.
Boss is pushing in. The core has no more shielding up. That's 3 dead on the side of LFW. That is going to be a pretty simple GG, I believe. Casa gets comboed in and absolutely deleted here. Team Feedem with a clean 14 kill to 0 game. Looking beautiful, Jay-How.
It's just like you think, all right, this game shouldn't be over, and then they make plays happen that say, well, all right, it's game over. I mean, average game time is shrinking here after some games that we've had that have been pretty normal by most circumstances. All of a sudden, it's like, well, they can't end with the DK. And trust me, I believe Fury when he thought they were going to defend on Dragonshire. And then they lost. And all of a sudden, it's like, they shouldn't be able to end with the boss here. They've got Web Weavers. That's why you turn them in. But then Fury ended up getting zoned out. The tornado from the boss there was probably the biggest part. And then that forced him up, and that forced him into the toss, which forced him into the boss stun. So it was all very well played and utilizing that. But then LFW is like, but what if we just engage? And they engaged. It was 13-15, so that was going to be one of the only even talent tier fights that they got. Only problem is they lost that fight, and Team Feedem was able to clutch it out, which seemed pretty handedly.
So what is LFW going to do moving forward? We're going to check out some of these replays, but we talked about the difficulties that LFW is going to have during the early game, stuff like that, just getting flipped in and immediately comboed. Jaina dying as well is a rough situation to be in if you're LFW, and just losing this hard during the early game really started snowballing things in favor of Team Feedem. Of course, just the complete shutout in kills was, you know, not making things any easier for LFW.
It's just dominance, man. Like, we mentioned it before, we mentioned it during, I'll continue to mention it again. This roster, when we first started to hear about it being put together, we thought this is going to be one of the best teams that we're going to have. Nice Indomitable there. Zugrug able to use the Indomitable, go in and get the toss, and that's going to be the kill onto Dark Chimera. But it's just every player at each different position has so much experience, and the way that they communicate, it's so strong. The positioning there of what Cure's doing, it's just like, look, you're forced to go one way. You're probably dead anyways, but I'm still going to make the perfect play with the right mobility, the right movement. That's what's so good about it, is like, you could make an easy play and just get the kill, but he still makes the perfect play in terms of like, I'm going to jump exactly here because this is exactly where I want you, and that's the way I'm supposed to do it. And so you've got to respect that. There's that last fight we were talking about.
Dude, Cure's so awesome because he just put in the work, right? And that's what he always does with games. Right now, he's Master League and League of Legends, switching over from Heroes of the Storm. Like, he's kicking serious ass no matter what game he's playing in. And, like, you just watch him. He's literally 1v9ing right now. Like, look at him on the backside of this fight. He doesn't care. He doesn't even have his team to back him up. He just knows the limitations of his hero, gets a kill there, gets another kill there in a 1v4 situation. Yes, of course, he's got, like, a 3-level lead at this point, but still, what I'm trying to say is this guy just knows his heroes in and out, and it's so fantastic to see him play.
It's good times, man. It's a key part to why they're up 2-0 pretty easily here. Yep. In this best of 5. Still at least one more game to go. Remember, this is the last series today, but we are going to have the top 4 tomorrow with the finals. The finals are best of 7. We'll cover more of that before the end of the show, but right now we're looking at Team Feedem with a 2-0 lead. And Colin, we're going to Towers of Doom next.
Perfect match to either get looking for work back into this game or end out the series if your Team Feedem. This is the map to make it happen on. Everybody loves it. I don't know a single person that plays Heroes of the Storm that doesn't love this map at the very top of their pool. Everyone likes this map, especially considering how this is the only... Uh-oh.
Go ahead. I like it for competitive, but I don't like playing it.
Wait, what? Why? Because you can't play Sylvanas, that's why. Omega lol, I just caught you in front of the entire family.
What do you mean Merc Queen OP on this map?
Okay.
Sappers
here we
get
go.
juiced up, and then you realize like all 4 of your teammates are in the top lane,
Just
and you're like,
disconnect.
wait a minute.
J-How, stop.
And then you're like, why?
Okay, tell
You mad.
us why you don't like the map in Hero League.
I didn't say I didn't like it in Hero League. I just said I don't like playing it.
Oh, okay. That's fine then. Smile.
I
we're
love
gonna
it in
get here,
competitive. I
folks.
just don't like playing it.
Yeah. It's brilliant and competitive. Always has really, not always. Sometimes they're slow games that just like end pretty quickly. Wait, that kind of sounds opposite. You know what I mean? Slow feeling game. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're games that last, you know, one team only has 3 shots on their core and then they make a comeback, or 1 shot. Don't give me that look, J-How. 1 shot on the core and then they make the comeback. This game, this map has incredible comebacks is what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way.
Yeah, sometimes I had some long games that ended quickly. It's crazy.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. Everyone thank Mr. Howe for that one.
Slow games that end quickly, long games that end quickly. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you look at it. That's the way the cookie crumbles. But for LFW, a lot of it, I think, is going to... There's normally a lot for these teams that are put on Fury's shoulders to... You're the tank, we need you there. But I think you and I both saw that draft, and we expected maybe the Imperius would have been Fury. But I think whether it was the Blaze or the Imperius played by Fury as the main tank, there's a mobility element that's missing there, or a follow-up CC element that's missing there. You're relying on Blaze and Imperius to be the main ones, but when you're in your 4-man and you don't have CC follow-up, whether it's a Thrall. I mean, a Thrall would have been fine. So you get the root follow-up. A Tyrande always works really well. Deckard, we haven't heard from Deckard the entire day, but you need to have something else in your 4-man. That way, when you do have those 5-man team fights, you're not relying on 2 heroes to make all the plays that are functioning together, but also slightly different in terms of peel and their engagements. So last draft, I feel, was a bit of a miss, and maybe they can rebound and pick something different. The Garrosh, the Johanna, the Diablo, all those are going to be considered for first bans, and I think during the first rotation.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this could be the potential last game of the evening. Team Feedem up 2-0 against Looking for Work. Team Feedem with the luxuries of first pick and first ban. So let's see what they decide to remove from the equation.
We know Abathur's getting banned by somebody. That's normally on the onus of the second pick team. Like, if you're a first pick person, you don't have to ban Abathur. The other team does. And just like that.
Goodbye, my slug son. We're not going to see him again, folks. And I know you're all sad about it, but it's okay. Next ban here for Team Feedem. Was there anything that LFW ran that they should really be worried about? I don't think so. Perhaps just a
The
Maiev
Maiev, I think, is going to have to... Yeah, the Maiev, I think, has to be banned. I mean, by Genji being banned, you're going to give up either the Zeratul or the Maiev, but at the same time, it could be, you know, Team Feedem. If they go Zeratul first pick, then they can easily just be like, all right, look, you're probably going to take Garrosh, and then they can just as easily... Look, Zughrug was one of the people that was still playing Muradin going into BlizzCon, so he could always go Muradin. This is a far more forgiving map for Muradin, but also the Johanna is always going to be there for a Team Feedem style, and they're also the ones that ran heavy Anubarak. Instead, they're going to have the Zeratul banned against them, see if that results in the first pick land.
I think it should, right? All things considered. The other option would be something like a Tyrande, but then that's giving it up for LFW to run in their 1-2. And then Maiev, one of those heroes that can very easily just vault the engages from the comp that Team Feedem decide to run, but we'll see what it is. The Maiev was definitely the high likelihood hero, and we're getting it here, folks. Utana looked great on it, too. That snag on bottom side fort for the kill on Dragonshire was beautiful. Okay, all right, we got a little bit of a stinky cheese coming on here in this last game.
There's no hiding it. There's no hiding it at all. It's Stitches, Medivh, Hook, Portal, Gorge. But we've been bamboozled before, and then we get the Putrid Bile. And you're like, oh, okay, well, this just works. And it now all of a sudden the portal, instead of a pull back mechanic, now acts as a we engage mechanic, and we just dive that backline with that Putrid Bile. So we'll have to see how it plays out post 10. We know what we like to see. We know what we expect to see, but at the same time, it could very well be different.
There's no way that Johanna just baits all of the hook Gorge portals and then just falling swords back over the wall, right? That can't happen. And this is
easy.
It's not land, so it's tough to iron skin hooks from Vogue, and it's new stitches, so his hooks aren't as long. I'm just trying to like think of everything that's a potential here in this game.
Well, the Dahaka band out. You gotta love a Dahaka band on a map like this. However, they have the opportunity to pick Dahaka if they wanted it, which means that I feel like they're gonna get a melee assassin to maybe try and help execute if they do go Portal Gorge. As good as Dahaka is at the global, and I think he's great against a Malfurion and on towers, we know that. But you now are like, okay, well, we are gonna need somebody to help capitalize on this. And I think that damage comes in. Jaina is normally a good pick, but then Johanna, I mean, you've got the wave clear with the Jaina. You get the burst damage if you are going that route. Else, it could just be simple sustain. And Jaina Medivh is a double mage, so to speak. It's just a matter of the comfortability in terms of how they feel they can execute.
Next two picks, I definitely think there's a high likelihood it's a high damage melee, and we're seeing it there in the Malthael Lucio as well. So not only is LFW running the Medivh stitches for Portal Gorge, but they're also running, what do you people call it, milk carton or some crap, because stitches gorges and then you run away with Lucio, something like that.
Yes, the milk
People
carton.
have really weird names for comps in this game.
You know, like a long time ago, they used to put like missing people on the side of milk cartons, right?
What's a milk carton? In Canada, we have them in bags. Phoenix, the last pick here for Team Feedem. Look at I got the smile out of JL. Look at him, ladies and gentlemen.
Solo lane Phoenix, by the way.
Yep. Which is not too far from the ordinary. In fact, against a Malthael, Phoenix can do really good work. Yeah. So the only thing that Phoenix has to be cautious of is if he trades with Malthael, to make sure that he doesn't get hit by the Malthael's E, which is relatively simple to do. What is going on with this LFW draft? They have so many different ideas running around here. Sergeant Hammer?
I don't mind a Sergeant Hammer. The problem I have with a Sergeant Hammer, if they are trying to hook Portal Gorge, Hammer's not killing that target. Like, you are now relying. That's why I said the Dahaka ban means that they need to go a melee assassin that has execution potential to be able to get the kill if they run that. So they still can, but I'm afraid that the composition that they're running it against is going to be difficult to manage. Hammer versus a Tracer, if you're a Tracer player, you know that's a terrible matchup. You hate playing against them. But you also have a Maiev who can go in, and we've heard the comms. We know the coordination is there. If Johanna simply goes in, blinds, and then Maiev is able to come in, maybe get some tethers, get everything going, Tracer now can engage safely. You have engagement tools. Yes, you have disengage potential, but there are always going to be those small moments where you can find those. And so we'll see. We'll see how safe they feel that they really are with this Sergeant Hammer.
I want to find out. Let's get to it. Team Feedem is up 2-0 in this best of 5 series. Ladies and gentlemen, against Looking for Work, they really need to find a comeback in this game. They've got the potential for an upset with this Stitches Medivh combination. It's just whether or not they execute it properly.
So the play, it's safe, it's very cautious, and a lot of what we're going to see LFW come out with is a post-10 comp. The one thing that Sergeant Hammer can help you do is have a pre-10 comp in terms of some pressure on structures. How they manage that, Malthael is going to have to be basically a double soak hero at times. Did go on a Pale Horse, so those rotations are quick and easy, but it's much more difficult when you're trying to go to the top lane, and quite simply, the team comes up there, and that is going to be Cure dipping out. And when you make that rotation up and the rest of the team comes with you, it's GG lights out.
And not only that, but the entire bot wave just going bye-bye. That's... There's no Chromie in this game either. Like, that's awful, dude. That's so bad. Look at the experience already.
This is not a good start if you're an LFW fan, which means that the hardest part about running the combo of the hook Portal Gorge is that when you're behind, your engagements are already limited. Cure should be sitting on a portal, or a port, yeah. but your engagements are already limited based on the cooldown of a hook. Then all of a sudden, you can't just casually walk forward against a Maiev Tracer composition when you're down a talent tier, which means that you're now even more limited. So if they get behind in this early game, whether it be to structures or kills, it is a very difficult climb, particularly with this composition of a Stitches. That's always been Stitches' issue, is limited engagement opportunities. The rework Stitches helps, but I don't think it's a cure for the issue that they could potentially face.
That was a pun. You're a god. If not, I still love you. Cure doing big damage here to Swabs. Keep in mind, he has the warp, but he is biting off way more than he can chew. Cure just kind of running it down there. Maybe expecting Stitches to be on the bottom side. And Team Feedem, they have the wall bot, so at least they're getting some value out of it, but a little bit uncharacteristic of Cure there.
He went the mobile offense. I love that talent. When you're in the solo lane especially, it helps out a lot. There's going to be the pulse bomb. Fury trying to stay alive. They're tracking him down, not able to get to safety. You saw Medivh trying to pour it up to give some added safe protection, but that's a full level lead still. There's going to be some banked XP in that top and bottom lane with the minions pushing in, but make no mistake about it, these early kills in the rotation are having an impact for Team Feedem to try and close out this series.
Heck yeah, it's 3 minutes in, a level lead for Team Feedem, 2 kills to 1. Kier now the focus. Remember, Dark Chimera can boop the warp, so Kier can't actually use his E ability in those fights whatsoever. Has to be very careful about that one. Meanwhile, Collusion starting the channel on the bottom altar, so going to be able to get that. Lutano starting his as well, and on the other side of the map, Stitches getting the channel done for LFW.
Sergeant Hammer is actually finding that their camp at the bottom right is being taken. So that means LFW should look to get aggressive in that top left. How aggressive they can be, we're about to find out. But that camp's now been picked up. Lutano going to get the blink over the wall. This would result in 2 out of 3 of the towers going over. But now Tracer and Johanna are joining the fight. They got the camp. No Sergeant Hammer here. The port out. LFW is going to have to concede.
Very interesting. Yeah, Team Feedem just, they tried to do too much with the opportunity that they had. Take away the camp and also get the channel, but the channel was stalled, so nice job by LFW to step in on the top side there and pick up the objective for themselves. I thought for sure that was just going to go over to Team Feedem. Nice job by LFW. Oh, Toasty using his ult on the floor. Smile.
Yeah, just blame Central Server. That's what I do.
Of course. Wait, isn't Toasty East Coast?
Yeah, just do it anyways.
That's true. That's true.
Even when I'm playing on West, I still blame Central if I miss.
Right. LFW. They're finding their way into this game, but again, their composition, I think, is kind of difficult to make work with this hammer. We'll see how things work out later on, but the big question is what Fury decides to go with at level 10, and if they can get value out of that combo. That's the big thing. You know, because if you get a hook combo onto Phoenix, maybe he gets away. Likely not, though, because there's so many interrupts on the side of LFW. If you get it onto Maiev, she can vault. If you get it onto Johanna, perhaps she runs the Falling Sword. We've already seen it today. Why not? Tracer
Find out soon. Right now, next altar phase coming in. Cure getting mad value out of that level 1. There's going to be the helping hand, but Lutano is there to help finish. The tether latched onto Fury means that he's going to have to stay around, and he is getting peppered down in that mid lane. Fury able to get some healing, but I'm just watching the top right. There's action abound as Cure just trying to get every ounce of damage out that he could. Sappers being defended, altars up in a few seconds. Malthael, see if they can get back in time. Does LFW to try and defend this, to stop the early game bleeding.
They don't get the stall on bottom. LFW, though, they want to try to do something before Team Feedem hits level 10. But they're just going to give 2 objectives over. I guess Malthael just wasn't able to show up at this point. So another 2 objectives just going over to Team Feedem. Now 28 shots on LFW's core. Level 10's on the horizon for Team Feedem. This is just nothing but fantastic.
They're in such a good position. The Maiev positioning there, as you saw coming from the top of the screen, always a threat with level 10. Now they can look to get aggressive. Medivh's going to scout this out. Might get a chance to take in some comms as the hook just missing vision provided. Team Feedem with level 10. It is Falling Sword, so the safety option is there. See if we can get a listen in soon for Team Feedem. Maybe see how they want to try and use 10s and see with 10 approaching for LFW how they want to approach the potential kidnap combo. We'll hopefully get that soon. We'll keep an eye on things.
LFW close to the level 10s. I exactly want to see how that works too. But like I said, Team Feedem just have so many things to stop. Oh, of course the containment disc, dude. If they land the hook Gorge, you just contain Stitches.
Here we go. We got the fight breaking out. That's actually going to be a kill onto Malthael. The kidnap combo is there. Napalm strike to pick up, not the BFG. We'll have this fight coming in. Even Talent here, knowing that this might just be conceded. Droplet's forced to get out of there. Hosty sitting on a pulse bomb or really close to it. We're going to take a listen in to Team Feedem's call. See how they try and play the macro side or whether they look for a fight here in the top lane.
Shit. He's in the bush.
Oh, Lucia here too.
That's gonna be
Yeah, we're far. Yo, I'm gonna cap left. I'm gonna cap left.
Okay, I'm gonna cap right. Cap right.
Yeah, we're capping, guys. We're not playing for point. We're just capping.
We're out.
Hammer here.
I'm dead. This one. Polybomb and
I'll be
Gorge.
fine.
My Mario tunnel?
I'm
Yep,
fine.
backflip.
Oh, nice. Last right's down. Gorge down. Gorge down.
Try.
Sound barrier down. Polybomb down.
Hills in one, first here.
Please.
Yeah, careful, just for this.
Oh god. Oh,
that's fine.
Oh, look, he's blind. Don't worry, I got you.
He has shield. There it is.
That hurt.
Gorge will be up in like 10.
I'm just gonna reset, I think.
Alright, I'll mid top for now. Our camp's up too. If we want to do that soon.
Alright, D bottom, guys. Same old. Hammer probably gonna siege it, right?
Gorge is up.
Pretty much
Gorge
of
is
that.
up.
Yeah.
Gorge is
hey,
100%.
Four down here. He just missed hook.
Oh, Medivh's
Coming,
mid.
okay.
You could portal on us for.
3 here. Don't step up too hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna play.
I'm gonna do our camp here, guys.
I mean, they can.
They're gonna push
slowly-
into us right
They'll
now.
slowly get this back. Just.
Hook.
Yeah,
Eddie
They're
is
on
Gorge.
Joe,
You're
they're on Joe.
You guys good?
they have 5.
No.
gonna
They
get
have
volleyed.
I'm on the way.
Good shot.
You can't ignore falling sword is the thing, like it's just free.
Yeah, I have a big
Oh,
salad.
it's huge.
Let's go.
Oops. I missed
I
one.
got there.
Watch out.
I'm out there.
I'm fine. Careful,
fine,
Steve.
right?
Hello. Hills in one.
I think we reset.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in trouble.
Yeah, look at him out there out of this maybe.
Yeah, I'm
He's
here.
rooted.
He's slowed.
I missed my Q.
He's
Maybe.
one. I got him.
Nice.
Dude, one. It's out of
Fury's tanking.
I'm on
Okay.
Fury, he's tanking. Careful though,
Yeet
careful.
one.
I'm so low.
I'm hanging out.
Ooh.
Just back
I'm
up.
out,
Got the
I'm
scope
out,
for
I'm out,
us.
They're
Cap
pretty
is
low,
up.
but.
Yeah, they're all like 1 HP. We can cap, I'm pretty sure.
You think we would push this in?
I'm
That's
already.
I
shield
missed
down.
my Q. I missed my Q.
One check.
Yeah, it's gonna come.
Gorge in 15 seconds.
I'm capping. Medivh's looking to sell me, I think.
Okay. You go.
I'm gonna stay with the tunnel here.
Halfway, Medivh's here.
Yep. I'm on him.
I
Watch
think he's
out.
giving.
Yeah,
he
you can.
Can we do
They're
their
here. They're just pushing. I'm glaiving. Oh, I don't have it yet. Fuck, it's so quick.
Unstoppable down.
Huge cleaves.
They still have
Watch
shield.
the
They still have
Gorge.
shield.
Yeah.
I have D right now, but it's probably not gonna.
Do we turn? Anything? Look at.
Maybe.
Alright, that's it.
Alright, there's a hook. Just leave, guys. It's my bad. There's huge top wave too. Fuck, my bad. I'm too greedy.
I don't
We
think
might
they can
need to
get
give
this if we stay. They're so low.
Good one.
It's hammer.
We can
Yeah,
just
just
retake
leave.
it, dude. Just play map.
Yeah,
just play
just
map.
leave, just leave.
The only way we lose is just what we
I'm
just
pretty
did.
able
Just
to
leave.
leave.
Wait, gank mid, maybe.
I think
he's
he's leaving
right.
already. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna press B, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
just be.
Oh shit. Wait.
Kala, you love to hear that type of communication.
Absolutely. I find it interesting that Kier right out of the gates was saying Gorge is up for sure, and it was 10 seconds off cooldown. Even though he was wrong, it's still so smart to say that sort of stuff. Just because what's the difference between 10 seconds and being up right there as far as that ability is concerned? Not too much. Hosty really nice recall, but right into the clutches, and that is a death for Team Feedem. Looking for work, finding that pick, but that's a 1-for-1 trade here. Casanova is low. Droplet stepping up, getting some damage done. And the funniest part about all of that for me, J-How, was you and I were just talking about the amount of ways that Team Feedem can get out of the Gorge, and the Falling Sword has been so good so far.
It was just used there, so now Fury knows that. It looked like he was afraid the Gorge was going to hit, so he used it preemptively. So the Gorge still available. Portal and Polybombs will be here. We're going to have a quick pause while we get a few things sorted out. We'll get some communication on that soon. But for this team, like, they got the pick, and you know, Lutano knew. He said the only way we lose is if we do what we just did, acknowledging his own mistake there. If they can avoid those, it should be smooth sailing, because LFW has had a hard time moving forward. They've even had to give up the last altar phase again for free. They've had such a difficult time contesting the objective.
Because Sergeant Hammer doesn't do that. Sergeant Hammer doesn't move into already contested spaces. She sets up in places that you already own, and she defends them very well. That's why Team Feedem contesting bottom side like they've been doing has just been nothing but pretty much high volatility situations. They have a very high chance at throwing the game down there because they're playing into a Stitches, they're playing into a Sergeant Hammer. Both Stitches and the Hammer want to take fights there. So it was very smart for Lutano to highlight that one and get the heck out of Dodge right away.
Let's actually take a look at this. You can see the Iron Skin usage is probably the most important part, because Polybomb is the follow-up to the Portal Gorge so that they can't get out. And so the Iron Skin usage, Polybomb not quick enough. And so they ended up getting that kill onto Johanna, but it wasn't before Johanna made it out. Lutano, there was a moment. You can even see, like, when he's calling, he missed his cue, right? It's like he means he doesn't have the reset, which means that his damage is completely limited at that moment. So that just those communication on whether you hit a shot or not seems to be crucial to their success.
I'm loving what we're doing with these listen-ins, man. It's just providing so much interesting context to these team fights. Like, we wouldn't have known any of that without the listen-ins. I think it's such a fantastic part of this tournament in general. I'm so glad we have them. It's been awesome.
It's like my favorite things were when we would go to LANs. DreamHack Summer was always my favorite because the studio that we were in during opening week of that, like, everybody's just sitting around, like us casters are just sitting there, like, listening, because our desk is like nearby. So we just sit there, we listen. The Tempo boys are wild, man. Between Glaurung and Fan, like, they're so loud. And when Psalm was there, like, everybody's yelling. Like, this is so calm, right? Like, this is one of the most calm comms you'll have. Then if you were to listen to the Tempo guys, like, they are yelling out the exact same information, but with far more desperation throughout the entire game. It was always so much fun to be able to hear that behind the scenes and see how different teams and different personalities work together to essentially solve a problem that's in front of them. It's such a unique perspective that we're giving here, that everybody's wanted it, man. Everybody's wanted to know what it's like, and this is really cool.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because for a long while, that was one of my biggest jobs with that team, is to stop them from freaking out over everything. No joke. Like, there was times where we would, in scrims, I noticed, especially against Korean teams, the Tempo Storm roster would freak out whenever they got picks, you know, yelling "let's goes" and comms. And like, while that's useful for morale, a lot of the times it just floods things and it messes up with the shot callers' train of thought. So I tried my best to get them to be calm in everything that they did, and I noticed huge effects from it.
There's going to be the portal, the Gorge. Lutano already used his blink. They caught him after he used his blink. The vault will keep him alive for a moment, but not forever. That's actually going to be Malthel not able to stay alive. Pulse Bomb's actually going to do some damage, almost splashed in for a little more. Alter still in contention. Zagra going to start the channel. This Dark Chimera and team trying to figure out, can they make their way in? Looks like that's going to be a free channel for Zugrug. Hook's just going to miss. Sound barrier for the engagements. They're still looking to fight here as Droplets and team going in super deep to try and get in. And Salvo in a response. Droplets just trying to survive and somehow does by the slimmest of margins.
Live Lord Droplets. Look at him. He's still just moving around here on the Sergeant Hammer. Really nice job surviving that one. That was a hairy situation for sure. Cure as well, stepping into multi-heroes from looking for work, has to be cautious in this mid lane. Meanwhile, Toasty is pushing this bot, just trying to open up as much for his team as possible, get that level 16 right away. The rotation coming down, there's the portal, but Toasty should be able to walk away. Hook goes out. You can't hook a fountain, Fury.
Rip. Well, 16 needs to be picked up by LFW. They're not far behind They've started to get some kills in this later part of the game. They're only down 1 kill. It's just been the amount of control and the objective. The early control for Team Feedem seems to have a lasting impact. They have a 15 core shot advantage. They had control over that bot lane. Once LFW was able to reclaim that bot lane, that's a turning point in a lot of games, and it's so crucial. That top lane and mid lane are nice, but on Towers of Doom, that bot lane has so much value to just defend and hold it. And for moments just like now, because the bot lane is going to be where their next altar is, the hook and the blink away by Toasty.
All right, can LFW find their newfound power with this fishing hook, Stitches? Do you think he can get the big hook?
This is it.
I think they can get the big plays. Thing is once they land these hooks too, they give up so much positioning on the map because they walk away to their structures every time with the portals here. But Fury going in, not finding anyone, and now look at the health bars of LFW. Jay, how Team Feedem are pushing in.
The containment disc goes out. Droplets eating just about every heroic imaginable. A team fight that gets any worse than this is going to be a terrible time for LFW. They get the Gorge onto Malfurion. They're trying to keep him alive, but that's actually going to be the support down, and now LFW fighting back, but the resets. Lutano getting one reset after another. Last Right's not able to confirm the kill onto Zugrug, and the tether is enough. Lutano is straight carrying the third part of this phase. The back and forth continues. The hook misses. Let's see if they can go more resets, but Lutano somehow getting out alive. Pulse Bomb in return. Casanova almost dying, and Toasty getting tracked down by Dark Chimera. Recall? No way.
Oh my
No way Toasty lives.
You walked into auto attack rage, Toasty. Why would you do that? Stitches didn't have slam up. No. Cure going in, looking to body. Everybody gets the kill. There's the portal. Every single member of Team Feedem has such low health.
Oh my, what?
she ran it down and died, dude. No.
And Droplets
for Johanna. Oh my gosh.
Droplets found
Cure,
my F on the retreat. Now Cure's stuck in an insane spot. Cure actually, what in the hell is going on here?
Okay, you guys. Team Feedem, you need to relax. Jeez Louise, I can't believe we just saw that. Actually ridiculous. Look at these comms and text.
That Johanna.
Easy blank, lol.
I've never seen, like, Johanna, I swear, had like 30% health. I've got to see that one again. That was
it just gets
wild.
Instantly deleted. Man, I wish we had comms for that. But how were we going to know that they were going to aggressively feed?
The hammer flank. And if that fight had gone any worse for LFW, they potentially relinquish control over that bottom lane, maybe a boss, maybe more shots, and they're basically put in a check situation. The fact that they managed to clutch it out to this point now puts them in a situation to where they have control over the map. Sappers will have to be responded to in the bot lane. Bot lane control for LFW. They're going to get another camp down at the bottom, double altar phase. They have a chance to start fighting back.
Very interesting. Team Feedem was talking about not throwing this game, and they have done exactly that. They have tossed their win out the window, and this is very much a game that Looking for Work can realistically do something in. You know, Droplets now has the situation where they actually have places to step up to and defend. We were talking about Sergeant Hammer not having the easiest way of stepping into places that their enemies have contested.
Here's the hook. There's the Gorge.
Collusion. Hammer's
but
down.
Hammer's dead. Hammer's dead, but now we're going to see... Oh, that's dead Malfurion. There are no minions nearby. Sappers are about to go through on the bottom. The altar ended up being channeled down to 3 core health. There comes the salvo. That's going to do some massive damage. Swab's trying to survive. Going to get tethered on there. Instead, he's like, look, I'm going to have to try and trade out. Unable to do so. Zugrug very low. Get the boop. And there's going to be the indestructible 20 just in time to keep him alive. And that is going to be 4 members down. And with that, Team Feedem will run up potentially towards the boss to try and end this game right here.
That should be a free boss for Team Feedem. Can Fury solo mount the defense against these members of Team Feedem? I don't think that's a possibility unless
he needs to clear some minions and get hungry Stitches. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Oh, he might get 20.
Wait, he can actually do
15 seconds though. 15 seconds though till Gorge. 20 is here.
So he can't do it.
He's got it. He's got hungry Stitches. He's got to do it. Here he goes.
He can't survive.
The unstoppable though.
2, 1. Mash the R key. Fury. No, that's it. Fury, he tried. Good games. Holy cow.
The dream
He really tried
was
there,
there. The dream was shattered. I mean, dude, if he pulls that off, instant legend. On an already legendary career, if he pulls that off.
Would have been a beautiful thing. He had it in his brain too. He saw all of the geometry was laid out in front of him. He just couldn't make it happen because the cooldowns were not right. Actually, if he had like 1 additional second, he could have possibly made it. Look at the timer up there, 9 seconds, 8 seconds, just ticking down, but he just doesn't have the availability. Steps in, gets the E, maybe a little early, maybe not, I don't know, but gets pulled off there, and that was it. The pull actually did so much damage to him. Holy cow.
Yeah, that was super. Like, everybody wanted that to work. If that works, man, that's one of those highlights that everybody remembers. Unless the cooldown was there.
Dude, what a legendary meme. Thank you, Jun-chan, for giving us that one. Look at these fights, too.
This fight here was wild, by the way.
Yeah.
This was a wild team fight.
Yeah. This collapse was so good. Collusion misses the ult right here. That was a little unfortunate, but aside from that, Droplets just gets deleted anyways, so does it really matter? I don't think so.
Well, Collusion went forward trying to land the roots to zone them off, but they actually ended up walking into the Gorge, and when they got that, that's when it's like, wait a minute, like, this is where LFW can turn it around, and you could see they stayed in this fight. This is where Hosty and Zugra get pretty low, but Lutano, watch the amount of Qs he gets resets on. It's insane.
He sidesteps that hook as well. Lutano has been making big plays. This is the part where Hosty actually made me want to cry myself to sleep. Watch this. Gets hit by the structures here. Gets hit by the Lucio auto. Stays alive. Gets the recall. Boom, bang. He's walking away. He's autoing. He's dead. It's okay.
But then
he had the W picking on him, didn't he?
Okay, Zugrug was pretty. Yeah, Zugrug was pretty low here. Yeah. Okay, so that's why he was low.
That is the definition
but the Sergeant Hammer
of running it down. Cure 2, watch it.
Hammer on the left.
Easing. This is the best part. Dark Hammer, is he gonna go down? Cure's gonna find out, baby. But he just gets
like, I'm trying to trade out. You gotta love it, man. That was fun, man.
Though.
Team Feedem, though, they moved on, and that's kind of where we expected this team to be, but we haven't seen them perform as a full unit. And now that actually completes day number 1. Here's a look at the bracket and how things unfolded. Endemic with the massive upset over Heroes Hearth at the beginning of the day. Then we had Murloc Geniuses face a very difficult task in Cataclysm. They ended up 3-1. Team 12 ended up taking down Scythe with their unusual style, still bringing it in. Team Feedem with they're like blue collar, man. They come in, they draft what they're supposed to draft, they play the way they're supposed to play, and they just communicate, as we heard, the way that you would expect a team like that to communicate. I mean, they're like a by the books team, and Team 12 is like the complete opposite of those.
Yeah, one definitely plays to the crowd a little bit more than the other, I would have to say, but both of them are equally entertaining. One I really like just for the competitive standpoint. It's really interesting to see how like a top level team will just communicate with each other. On the other side, I loved the way that Team 12 just kind of got by in their games. It was great to see.
It's been fun so far. Red Bull, Tempo Storm, thank you so much for allowing us to put this on. We've still got day number 2, Studio 2 Box. We see you guys clutching it out, man. They've been here since the early in the morning. I've been communicating with them all day. Special shout out to those guys putting in the work, and that one guy in the back pretending like he's working. I see you. But either way, that's it for day number 1. Kala, final thoughts on day number 1, and then looking forward to day number 2.
Final thoughts on day. It was a banger, just the whole day. Beautiful games, day in. Great turnout with chat and everybody watching, so thank you all so much for being here. Really interesting and diverse drafts. I thought that this, for me, like, this was just better than HGC. I loved this. This was fantastic. I had so much fun with this, so thank you everyone for being here, and everyone who helped put this together. Thank you very much as well. Anyone who had any part in this, Toasty, Gladman, everyone from Tempo, Red Bull, Heroes Hearth, every single group that participated in making this happen, and you too, man. Thank you for being a co-caster of mine. You're the best. And thank you for letting me flame you 3 times. 4 times, actually. 4th time.
That's enough for the entire weekend, by the way.
Well,
anyways, Look, guys, tomorrow, best of 5s are going to be in the semis, but the finals, best of 7. You don't want to miss it. That's going to do it for us. Day number 1, comeback day number 2. Get out there, spread the word. Toasty and Gladman Invitational brought to you by Red Bull and Tempo Storm. Come back tomorrow. We got plenty of action for you. We'll see you then.